This episode is sponsored by Inez Queen Water, Black-owned business, supporting women, and giving back to Earth. You can find more information in our bio below. Follow them on Instagram at Inez Queen Water, and then check out an episode in the future with them. Yeah!
Becky, we got the phone. Yeah, tell Becky to pick up the phone. Oh my God, Becky.
Can Miss Becky please raise her hand, bro?
You better call Becky with the good hair.
All right, you guys, it's your girl, Becky the Poet, and welcome to my podcast, Unspoken Words. You guys, we're tuning in today with another episode with Simone. It's not how you pronounce it, but give it to us
everybody.
one time.
My name is Simone. If you've watched a previous episode, you've seen me before, so I am back. I am a licensed marriage and family therapy associate. I'm also a blogger, crocheter. I do a lot, so yeah.
So, you guys, she's a therapist. We're going to talk about therapy, okay? I've been seeing on social media quite a bit about your significant other is not your therapist. I think I saw you tweeted that.
I did.
I think you reposted a lot of stuff. And I thought that was really interesting because, like I said before in the previous episode with you, we drive to somewhere else to give us therapy, you know? Social media, you know, not so much our parents sometimes, but some people, their parents, our best friend, you know, our family members. And I know sometimes we can become a burden, especially in our relationship. I know we tend to lean on that person, but then when that person doesn't give back what we want, we get angry with them, right? But I know if you're a therapist significant other, there are some boundaries that there needs to be set up before the relationship gets too far into deep, you know, just not with your current one, but in general, what should therapists be doing if their significant other is not a therapist?
I'm trying to think, like, what did we establish in the beginning? Because when Dennis and I started dating, I was still going through my grad program, but I remember, like, distinctly my very first semester seeing clients. I didn't have any boundaries at all. I didn't really understand like what that was like. So I was taking on my client stuff, my friend stuff, my family stuff, my boyfriend stuff. And I got to a point where I just got burnt out and was just like, leave me alone. Don't nobody talk to me. I mean, minus my clients, like I got to talk to y'all. But I just got to that point. So I had to learn like how to set boundaries with the people in my life so that I could be able to mentally handle like all the different stuff that comes my way. So that looks like a lot of my friends will, if they have something that's coming up, they'll be like, where are you at mentally right now? Can you mentally handle like something that I want to talk to you about? So like they'll check in with me first, and I appreciate that because sometimes I do have days where I'm like, bro, it's been a rough day with the clients.
Right.
Like, you know, can we talk about this later?
Right.
So I appreciate them checking in with me because it gives me a chance to like say yes or no instead of feeling like I'm obligated to answer.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's kind of like the whole ordeal of I'm learning this, doing a little bit better. You know, before you send a text message, you gotta be like, "Good morning," before you get straight into whatever you're gonna ask.
Because I call you out on that all the time.
I know. She'd be like, "Good morning." I'd be like, "Oh, it's good morning, guys," but da 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 da. Which I'm still trying to learn the fine line in between. You know, it's still hard. It's difficult because you know at 4 a.m. when everybody's asleep, I'm up for work and I'm like, all right. And people are like, do you even sleep? I'm like, kind of. You know, you wake up thinking about work. So I'm kind of, you know. I know as you get older, we learn to set boundaries. I know at a young age, I didn't even know what boundaries were when it became to anything, you know, work people, whatever, because you start to, you know, you would think like I don't do wrong to people. Why do we need to set boundaries, right? But then you realize when you go to work in the real world, you know, you don't give your work people all of you. You know, you don't give your babysitter all of your life. You know, you just kind of have to tell them what you want to tell them and call it a day. Because if you give everybody your whole story, I don't know, you kind of, you sound like a broken record, and everybody start be like, she's told me the same story, and then you just like, bruh, what's going on for real? I know right now people are probably coming to you because they're probably in their own heads, all this stuff, right? Besides people who aren't your friends, people who kind of you just met, like through events and networking stuff. How's that going? Anybody reach you crazy or come at you and be like, hey, Simone, I need some help? You know, how you feel about that?
So being a therapist, you a lot of times have that conversation with yourself of, should I tell people I'm a therapist or should I just like not? Because 9 times out of 10, if you tell somebody you're a therapist,
or your best friend,
they're gonna want to tell all their business. Like, okay, girl, now help me out. And I'm like, you don't pay me for this, so no.
Right.
So, depending on the environment that I'm in, I'll let people know. Otherwise, I'll be like, oh, I work in the mental health field. And I'll just leave it at that. I won't go into any detail. But I've learned that if people start, like, telling me their business, I'll be like, oh, it sounds like you've, like, going through a lot. You might want to talk to a therapist about that. Like, I am a therapist, but I am not your therapist.
Right.
So, I've kind of learned to have that conversation and, like, be okay with however people react, because at the end of the day, like, I have to keep myself in good mental health, and so I can't take on everybody's stuff. I just can't do that. So
I do have a question. A lot of people lately have been getting into mentors, you know, someone to guide them with their career or whatnot, right? Sometimes we can get therapists mixed up with the word mentor. Do you see how that can happen and how it can be avoided as well?
Yeah, I can see how that can get mixed up, just because like a therapist is almost seen as like a guide for your life, and so is a mentor. But mentors are not licensed therapists. They didn't go to school, learn the techniques, some of the, you know, the stuff that we did. So talking to your mentor about your problems would be essentially be the same as like talking to your friend.
Okay.
So they may be able to give you advice based on their life experiences, but they're not going to be able to kind of walk you through some of the things and not put themselves into it. So you said something else. I forgot what.
And how can they avoid, like, I guess, as someone who is a therapist, how can you avoid the fine line between, I guess, I need to be your therapist and not your mentor? Because I will say, in my past, I had a therapist and we were vibing, and I think when you talk about religion, and you guys kind of, I don't know, it happened. You know, you talk about religion, I feel as though I was closer when I was going to church, right? I had faith in something, right? My life was okay, but I had somebody to fall back on, right? Mm-hmm. Prayer was actually a big deal in my life, right? And sometimes people who are very religious, who are therapists, they tend to want to take you under their wing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I know you're lost, but I can help you be found type of ordeal. Okay. Right. So how can you, I guess, prevent that from happening if you're a therapist?
I mean, I did go to a faith-based school for my grad program, and they taught us, because we did get a little bit of like Christian counseling, what that looks like and like when you should do that. Mm-hmm. And so they always taught us that, like, follow your client's lead. If they don't bring it up, you don't bring it up. So for a therapist that's religious, like, yes, I know there's, you know, the principles that we learn in church as far as like bringing the law so that they can be found, but that's bringing your personal self into the room. It's okay to do it in certain aspects, but I feel like religion, since it's something that differs so much, it would be something that I'd be hesitant to kind of bring into the therapy room unless my client was okay with it.
Right. I do know sometimes even we fall into, like, even when I'm talking to you, I'm being real with you, I hesitate a lot because I'm like, I hope she doesn't think I want her to give me answers. Like, that's why I'm always like, let me just vent to you. Like, most of the time when I tell people that, I'm like, I'm going to complain, I'm going to vent, but I don't want you to reply back. Because I know, like, my friends who are, like, in the field or working on it, you know, they deal with a lot of stuff, whether it's not even a therapist, just in general mental health. They have a lot to deal with, you know? And so having that one friend that's always like, complain, you're like, damn it, I hope they don't expect you to say anything. And I've learned to, like, not even, you know, just listen, don't say anything, you know, because I think it's, you start to see the wear and tear in people. And I feel like some friends who deal with mental health a lot, they distance themselves, like, sometimes just because it's like, oh, I've had too much social interaction at work that right now, like, at my home, I just kind of want to be a homebody person.
Yeah.
Are you a homebody person normally?
Oh, always. My stay in the house game is strong. So, like, this whole pandemic thing, people are like, I wish I could go out. I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, what? I can keep myself busy inside. So, I've always been a homebody. I can be social, like, if I need to be social, but I don't go out of my way to be social.
Yeah.
So,
I know I've been talking to a lot of people since our episode with the virtual therapy. I've asked, they, open up to me. They're like, yeah, I had to go to therapy because of this, et cetera, et cetera. And I asked them, I was like, how is the virtual therapy? And then one of my friends like, oh, I love it. We call each other, check up on each other. Not each other, but like they call up and do our sessions, and it's a regular conversation, et cetera, et cetera. Cell phones are a big ordeal now. Technology in the work world now, whether it's FaceTime, Zoom, anything. I feel like it's beneficial to anybody right now when it's like trying to do at-home stuff. But I will say, do you think you'll ever get tired with virtual therapy?
I'm already tired of it. So, like for me, I value the face-to-face interaction that I have with my clients, because over video, I can't really read your body language. Like your tone and stuff, I can kind of tell, but then like sometimes we have issues, and it's just like we were having a moment, and then the technology decided to mess up. So like now we got like the moment's lost. Right. But I don't have to worry about that when I'm like sitting face to face with my clients. So it is getting tiring, especially because I work with a lot of kids, and the kids are getting tired, and they're just like, Miss Simone, when am I going to see you again? So, they're getting tired of it too. So I just prefer the face to face.
I know right now we're having to wear masks wherever we go. In therapy now, is that a requirement when you guys are in the same room?
So I don't meet face to face with any of my clients. We do all like telehealth, because with my job, I'm community based, so I go into people's homes. Okay. I can't do that right now. So I do know for some of my therapist friends, they wear masks when they're meeting face to face, and they have like the distancing and stuff like that, and then they sanitize everything in between clients. So that's kind of like the protocol that most therapists are doing that are meeting with people face to face.
So I know that means that it cuts off like body cues and facial cues and stuff, or reactions. How do you so what do they teach you? I know there's always, with this kind of degree and stuff, you always have to learn the new stuff, right? So how are you guys in general, how is the therapy world upgrading to COVID, mask, PPE wear?
It's kind of like learn on your own, not so much like like here, we're gonna push this out to everybody. It's kind of like if you want to do telehealth and you want to know more about like what are ways that you can connect with your clients through like video, then like you gotta find something out there yourself for that. So
man, I wouldn't know how to do it. Like I always say, I'm glad I graduated school way before this happened, because if I would have went through it now, I don't think I would make it through.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And it's just scary hearing a lot of like schools with like these cases that opened up. I know sometimes I think about back, like my little sister, she's doing virtual school now. Yeah. And I'm like, how is she getting through it? Right? Who is she going for help? And, we're already afraid to go get tutoring face to face. Right. What makes you think I'm going to call somebody on randomly Skype to help me with my math problem? Yep. Like I don't think I could do it. Let alone like if it was like in college, how do I get physics help? It's a whole different ball game. So what are you doing since we last talked? I know you're doing your crochet stuff.
It's become a whole new thing since the last time we talked, which I'll announce later. I'm not gonna talk about it now because I'm trying to get stuff set up. But
so how I know like crocheting is very therapeutic and people are getting into it now because pandemic wise, but you've been doing that way before. Yeah. So what is the most piece you love that you made during this pandemic?
Probably these slippers that I got on. Like I'm tempted to like just take them off and like show y'all one of them so y'all can see. But I love them. They're these little comfy, like thick slippers that I made with this little fur trim, and they're super comfortable. They don't have any grippy bottoms on them, so I gotta be careful. I slipped and slide a couple of times, but they're probably my favorite. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I made that I'm like, oh, I did that. Oh yeah, I did make a baby blanket.
Oh, is that the one you did? Well, by the time you guys watched this, it'd be like 2 weeks later. But you were doing something and you needed 189 rows or something like that. Was that correct?
Yeah. I posted it on my Instagram. Yeah, I was working on that baby blanket because my mom commissioned me to make this baby blanket for her.
You just love your parents, though.
Gotta love it. She's paying me though, so I'm totally okay with it. She was like, "I'll pay you," so I'm like, "Oh, okay, bet, I'll do it."
I love parents; they're really supportive. And like when your kids do anything, they're always like, "My baby girl does this," and my mom be like, "Becky does something, shirts, radio, whatever, you know." And I just be like, "Thanks, mom." And then she'll be telling people to buy my stuff. She's like, "Buy her hoodies for whatever what," and then you kind of have to go through that long phase of like, explaining what it is. And like, oh
yeah, because parents they like they know a little bit, but they never know like the full thing like, that it is.
Simone, just tell us what you do. Like, what do you do?
Right?
You
like,
you knit.
She does this like therapy thing, and they be like, "Oh, okay, so what does she do? I don't know. She got her master's, whatever."
So it's September. It's about to be Christmas. Do you think that virtual therapy, you'll still have to be doing telehealth onward throughout 2020 and possibly 2021 as well?
Yeah, we probably will, just because the cases are getting worse, not better. So especially with like schools opening up.
You would think, honestly, though, that there's no more COVID the way we look at their Instagram.
Every time you look up, somebody got it. So you would think at this point, like, we all immune. But yeah, I see us doing this through the end of the year and possibly longer, depending on how this whole vaccine thing goes, because they're talking about having that ready like in November. So we'll see. Are
you going to be able to make it through the rest of the year doing virtual health? I ain't
got a choice.
Therapy. Yeah, she's like that. This is my job now.
Yeah, I don't really have a choice.
Dang, so I'm pretty sure everybody has to change their job description. Virtual sessions now and blah, blah,
blah.
And
then people have to sign like telehealth consent forms saying that they're okay like with doing the video, and then like if you determine that the video isn't the best option, then like if you don't do face-to-face, refer them out to someone.
Do you ever worry about like, you know how people tell you like it's supposed to be like private, right? In the whole technology world, anybody can get into it. Do you ever have to worry about that?
I mean, that's written in the consent form. Like, hey, it's a possibility. They be out here hacking, so it's a possibility. We try to like use what's called HIPAA compliant software, so it's just stuff that's considered like HIPAA secure. So like depending on the Zoom that you use, there's a HIPAA secure version of that. And then like there's another program that we use at my job that's HIPAA secure. So I mean, that's all we can do.
I will say there's been a lot more therapy talk in social media now.
Everybody's in the house losing it, so
you never really realize how much getting out really helps the mind, like just the well-being in general, right? Being coped up all day, look at the same people, look at the same ceiling, the same 4 flowers growing in your house, I feel like it can make somebody crazy, or it has,
And then the layer of when I leave the house, what are the chances of me being exposed to someone with COVID, right, and like bringing it back? And so it's like there's also this anxiety that's kind of there for a lot of people that wasn't there before.
I know it's a lot of trending now. Like, okay, I'm a horrible person. I get my news from Twitter, so whatever's trending on Twitter, I'm there.
Honestly, same.
But they talk about how another worry is depression during this pandemic time, and I believe it. And I also see, like, the more news you watch, the more things you see headlining, you're just like, my God, this world's never gonna get any better,
right?
And I feel like sometimes too you can overdo it. Depression can lead to, I hear Zoom drinking is worse than drinking at the bar. You're at home drinking, and then you think you're at home, you're safe, and the next thing you know, you're on the concrete. Oh, it's my joke. But anyways, go ahead and tell the listeners how they can get through this virtual therapy if they don't like it. What is there to do besides crocheting? And also, in 2021, Can you drop us a little something like what you're doing over here in your business world? Just drop a little.
I guess they'll be the first to know. So first thing, as far as like the virtual therapy and getting through it, even if you don't like it, just kind of remember like the why you're doing it. You know, like even though you're not getting that face-to-face interaction, you're still getting something which is important for your mental health. So just remembering that can be helpful when going through the virtual therapy, and also remembering that it's not a long-term thing. You eventually will get back to that face-to-face interaction with your therapist. What was the second thing?
Two, I forgot. I'm ready for the...
Oh, something to do other than crocheting. That's right. So, I mean, like...
She's trying to avoid the last question.
So, I mean, like, finding a hobby that you enjoy. Because, I mean, I don't just crochet. I enjoy writing. So, I mean, I have a blog. But other than that, I enjoy writing, like, little short fiction stories. Reading.
You write about the people at your pool?
No, I just talk about them. I just look at my window and look at the people out there. But so just like finding a hobby, because there's a lot of indoor hobbies that you can do that are like inexpensive. You don't have to like, you know, pick up a camera and start taking video. I'm throwing shots at my boyfriend right here. You know, there's like there's some inexpensive options for you.
I was talking to a poet to just throw you off a little bit. He's now like doing Udemy classes and learning about like something relating to like IT or coding and stuff. And I'm like,
they always have some like sale. They actually have one going on now. By the time this drop, it's probably gonna be done. But instead of the courses being their normal price, they'll drop them down to like $12 or $13. And so that's another thing that you can do is like find a course that like interests you and learn something new.
A lot of people have been getting into stocks. Now, I don't know anything about it, but I've seen my friends' Instagram stories and they're all talking about their gains and their losses. I'm like, bruh, what is this? I'm not going to gamble my way into the stocks, man. But the last question.
The one she's been waiting on. It's not even 2021. It's planning for next month. I will be starting a crochet business. Enough people have like been interested in the things that I make. I'm gonna just go ahead and just show you the slippers, because this is one of the things that I'll be selling. So this is the slipper. This is what it looks like. It's got the fur trim and like it's a thick yarn. A lot of people have like really liked them. I've made them for a few people and they love them. So they're like, you should start a business. So here I am. So Hooked by Moné will be starting next month, hopefully.
Yay! Get you some slippers for Christmas, you know, because y'all know.
Oh, and baby bibs.
Y'all ain't going Black Friday shopping. It's dangerous out there.
Right, where are we going? Nowhere.
Online, all day. All right, you guys. Follow you at...
It depends on what you want to follow me on. So my personal IG is Simoné, Cmoenay. My blog's Instagram is The Cozy Compass. And then eventually Hooked by Moné will be going live as well. So, you know, you got options.
Let's go, baby. But you guys, don't forget to like, subscribe. If you're watching this video, share this podcast episode with somebody else. Because guess what? We're episode 89. Episode 90 is coming up. And you know what that means? Finish season 9. You know what that means next? Season 10. Then you know what next? Episode 100. We got some good stuff planning for you guys, alright? We, as in the next guest that will be on the next episode, we've been working hard. Oh, and Simone's been working too, but I can't tell you what she does for me because she does it. Baby, let's go. We out. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my YouTube at Becky the Poet, and then follow me on Instagram, Becky the Poet, and the podcast, Unspoken Words Podcast. Alright, you guys. Love y'all. Was that it? Was that all it?